how do you feel about the notion that newspapers are dying?
No, I think it's the furthest thing from the truth. Newspapers are evolving.
Since the birth of newspapers, many things have changed in the newspaper industry. Right now, there's been almost a panic in the industry due to the digital age. As newspapers have progressed over time, so has the rise of the internet. This has helped in that there is more access to resources than ever before, but hurt because advertising dollars are being invested elsewhere.
The model is changing a little bit in terms of how much historically comes from advertiser versus audience. It's a little more is coming from audience now, especially with the larger papers.
Now, you do need to have more of that computer-assisted journalism background. You know, I learned on the job, but if you're coming in now, you can't walk in your first day and go, what is this internet?
We actually offer commercial printing services. That used to be par for the course for newspapers of our size, but the changing wave of the business has led to a lot of consolidation in printing. Clearly, the internet and the rise of digital consumption is been a challenge to traditional print franchise. So, we have to adapt to the changes. We have to adopt new practices where they make sense, but we also have to be cognizant of the fact that we have a very large core group of readers who engage with and prefer our traditional print product. So how do we attract new readers who like the digital without taking away too much, of what has made us a success with that group that is still very strong, still very large, and still very loyal?
While some newspapers have not been able to handle the changes, there are newspapers out there that have adapted, and those are mainly community newspapers.
You talk about the fact that newspapers are in trouble, and they are. You're mainly talking about metropolitan newspapers. The healthiest segment of American journalism is actually community newspapers.
The modern journalism era, what we've got to do is really, at a paper the size of the DNR, the size of Winchester, Stanton, etc., is be hyper-local.
We have a very strong, well-connected to the community newspaper here, and that is one of the keys to our ongoing success, is that we are involved from a corporate standpoint in the well-being of the community. We are connected to the fabric of the community, and that gives us a big advantage and helps position us, especially in the changing landscape that we face today in media.
Not good at dealing with people. This is not a job for you. The people skills still have to be there. That's the way it was in the past, and that's the way it is now. You can do all the computer-assisted stuff, you can, but at its core, journalism is about what is happening and how that affects people. And you have to be able to look out beyond, you can't find that on a smartphone. You can't find that on a laptop or anything like that. You need to talk with people. There needs to be analysis, and you need to get to people at their core to find out what's going on.
Journalism, and that's reporting on and featuring important milestones, people, and events in the community. When people talk about journalism, they like to get a little more serious and get the hard-hitting, investigative journalism. Journalism, in its best definition, for a community newspaper is covering the community. And what you want to do is you want to say that you have effectively gone through a day, a week, a month, and held up a mirror to that community, and that your pages have reflected what's going on in that community.
Things that the DNR has done very well. We are very We are very local centric, and we need to be that.
The Daily News Record has helped me a lot. They had the finest sports editor ever lived. His name was Vincent Raleigh, and he helped me so much in the field of parks and recreation.
Very involved in the community. They recognize outstanding students in our schools. They have recognition for them. They participate in our schools with the young people. Presence in our civic clubs. I know Peter Yates was the president of our local Chamber of Commerce for years.
We have been generous supporters of many a cause in this community over the years. In other words, putting back what the community has done for us into the community. We know the issues. We know where the needs are. We have helped from a corporate standpoint to fulfill the needs and to lift up the community. And by being connected like that, it inures to our benefit. Our employees out there volunteering on boards, you see the results of our corporate philanthropy benefiting all kinds of institutions and not-for-profits in this community, and walking that walk and talking that talk help us to stay connected.
Since the Daily News Record is so connected with the community, what would happen if the organization no longer existed?
I think would be lost if the DNR no longer existed.
Oh, that's a tough question, gal. We'd lose a lot.
What do you think the effect would be in the community if newspapers no longer existed?
It would be a less informed community. I don't think people really realize how much they get from a newspaper, even if they just in passing see a headline.
Would be lost if the DNR no longer existed.
I had thought about that. I guess another paper would have to come to town.
Okay.
But I don't believe we will have to worry about that for a while.
While some newspaper organizations are shutting their doors, the bottom line is that there is still a desire for news and a need to get that news from newspaper organizations, whether it is print, digital, or any other means.
Who want to know what's going on in their communities are going to continue to turn to newspapers. So that's kind of the bulk of what is, I think, going to keep the industry going in some form, whatever form that is.
Every day. Every morning. First thing I do is read the paper.
They like having ink on their fingers.
I would never go a day without the DNR. When I'm in Myrtle Beach, which is right off, and I go there twice a month, and some properties there. I got the DNR right here.
I like reading the paper because I wanted to be informed on local things. I like having things in my hand in front of me. I don't want to read on the computer.
Studies have shown that our generation especially still really like print and being able to read a print newspaper because we're staring at computer screens all day and phone screens and that sort of thing. So there is some sort of nostalgia, I guess, in being able to pick up a newspaper and read the news that way, and I think that's probably a good sign for us keeping the print version of our paper
Out there for local news and for national news, and it's just a matter of where people are looking to get it and being able to come up with a business model that allows you to sustain that.
The bottom line is there is still a desire for real news out there by generations across the board. While it is a scary time in journalism due to the lack of a business model, it has never been more exciting to be a journalist because of the new and interesting ways to connect with people, whether it is print or digital.
A lot of reward in knowing that you are keeping the public informed about important things as they're happening. And, that's kind of the thing that has kept me, whenever I've been out of journalism, has kept me coming back. And I think it's the reason that the profession should exist.
It is now 4 a.m. And I'm still working. I'm gonna put bloopers in the end.
You want a soundtrack?
Free fall.